down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Down with OTC. Down with OTC.
Yeah, I'm down. Whoa.
In the world was that long delay. Hopefully you guys got that long delay. That was
I don't know what that delay was.
Man, tonight, look at that. Switch places. Tonight, we are going to talk about a ton of stuff, Chip. We've got XRP, Ripple, BTC, lots of things going on. There's a lot of people talking about digital assets. Wozniak, you know, that guy from Apple.
Woz, we call him, Jeff.
Woz.
We call him Woz.
People out there. Edward Snowden, a guy from the Shark Tank, Ron Paul. Everybody's getting into this digital asset craze, and that's what we want to go over today. We've even dug up a few interesting videos. Someone made a music video about 3 years ago, and then I found a video from 7 years ago, and we're going to check that out too. I thought that was kind of interesting.
7 years ago.
7 years ago, 2013, talking about Bitcoin.
Wowzy.
Yep.
Beautiful. Let's kick it off. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
Loaded.
Yo. Wow. Everyone's piling in here. Tony Morris said, who let the bulls out? We got Wen Mullet, who has a glorious mullet, the most glorious mullet in the world. So yeah, he's there. Darcy, man. Darcy, what time is it, like 5 a.m. over there?
Darcy.
Holy cow. Richter's here.
Sean
Beautiful
Thompson.
Peter
We got
Voss,
Wade coming in
SYB,
from Arizona.
Holy moly, holy moly,
Man, holy moly.
holy
Holy
moly,
moly. XRP Bags.
Big John.
Kelly Slade. Nice. We got a
Bags is
lot
in
of people.
here. Bags putting out some
Loads and
music.
loads and loads and loads of people bouncing in here. Man.
Sean
So
Thompson.
1
It's all
a.m.
good,
we're there.
man.
1
Wow.
a.m.
1 a.m. What the hell? It's time for some
Yeah,
XRP FOMO talk.
that's
It's
right.
getting exciting. There's a lot of weird stuff going on out there, man. I tell you what, I usually try to listen to like podcasts or things in the background. And today I just heard some weird XRP stuff. I was like, man, my head was spinning a little bit.
How
That's
weird
all
is
good.
XRP? How
Yeah,
weird is
what the
XRP?
it's not that it's weird. It's just that what was being said about it was somewhat weird. So that was weird.
Very weird.
So
That's weird.
Sergon is here. He's in the house.
There, John.
It's 4
Nice.
in the morning over there. So I don't know. That's pretty
Nice. I
interesting.
saw Barbara Taylor pop in here and
I have zero water.
XRP hodler for life. No water, man. I had to go get some before we started.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the reminder. I appreciate that.
Anytime.
I'm gonna let you go on a rant, and then I'm
Nice.
gonna
That's what I'm going to do.
sneak.
I'm going to bypass the whole Wozniak thing. I'll talk about that when you get back.
I'm gonna
And then
sneak
we're
out, grab
All
some
right, go
water in a
ahead.
second. Hang on a second. I got to do this
Hit the road.
first.
Hit the road.
Hit the road, Jack.
Hit the road, Jack.
All right. I'll be right
We'll
back.
talk a little bit about the Stable Act. We talked about the Stable Act a little bit last time. Well, it was weird. It's kind of like a shift and a shimmy. But last time we talked about the Stable Act has to do with Talib and a few others are getting together and they're trying to propose a bill which would address stablecoin. And I thought this would be a great place to start. Before we do that, let's take a look at this though. Let's take a look at this screen right here. You know what? Let me just pull him out of there. Looks a little strange with him sitting there in an empty seat. But if we take a look at this, this is the fiat leak. We've got XRP up at 57 cents. We got a ton of activity over here. So we've got, obviously you see a lot going into the US. We've got some activity over in Korea. Actually, you guys don't know. I'm looking at this monitor over here on this side. I should swivel over. I need to put another camera right above the monitor. So when I swivel, I'll be looking at that camera. That's actually not a bad idea. So there he is. There he is, the man with the plan, the man of the hour. He's muted too.
Did you put it on Fiat Leak or no?
I did, yeah, and we just took it off.
All right, that's fine.
I was discussing how I should put a camera above this monitor over here, so when I look over here, it doesn't look like I'm just looking off into nowhere.
I'm always looking on either this monitor, that monitor, or this monitor. That monitor.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll be like this. Uh-huh. That looks really weird, right?
Yeah. But I was waiting to pull this up. I was going to pull this article up, and I thought it would be good. This is actually an article all about, again, the Stable Act. So we talked a little bit about it before last week, and I thought it was interesting because here you have the squad member, Rashida Tlaib, put the whole crypto sphere was talking about this idea that they want to implement this Stable Act, which would give government control over stable coins and only then allow banks to control the distribution thereafter. So this article came out and I thought it was kind of interesting. Would the Stable Act make running an Ethereum node illegal? And that was kind of the, the idea here. They kind of got back into the bill and all of this. So I thought about this and I thought this would be an interesting place to really, kick this off and start talking, because as they propose like crazy bills like this, how is it going to impact the rest of the space? Where they want to give control to government, to the banks, again, kind of going back to deciding too big to fail.
Yeah, well, that's part of what the plan is. I mean, anymore you can tell the imposters, you can tell the posers. The posers want the government to control your lives. Those are the posers. Everybody else is like, hey, anybody who doesn't fit that is somebody you want to like support and be a little friendly around. But this is the whole problem with what we've feared with blockchain, is that everything would come full circle. It's like, yay, decentralized. Everything's decentralized. It's the greatest thing ever. And then everybody wants to slowly centralize everything and control it and put it into lock it into a, next thing you know, you're walking around in a spacesuit because you can't go anywhere, and you're drinking your food through a straw in a restaurant because you don't want to infect anybody. And there's no such thing as blockchain. Blockchain's become the most centralized form of. So yeah, it's not a good thing, Jeff.
No, it's never a
It's
good
never a
thing.
good thing.
No. All right. So anyhow, we'll put that behind us and let's kick this one off. I think this was the best. So Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak has a cryptocurrency that takes off, and I'm questioning, some of these entries into the digital asset space. So he has a new crypto altcoin, however you want to refer to it, called the WOZX, the WOZX, like the Wazoo, but it's the WOZX. And this token raised a ridiculous amount of money in a short period of time.
But
And
does it
so
have to do with imagination, Jeff? Yes or no?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, no.
Probably not. But they capped it at 1 billion tokens. Now I started looking at some of these, and it could be good, it could be bad. But what do you think? Is it real? Is it fake? Is this article just kind of blowing smoke? What do you think?
Well, look, I kind of like Woz. I thought he was influential back at Apple in the early days, but I got to be honest, he's kind of done some kooky things. If you remember a couple years ago, he lost a bunch of Bitcoin, I think, about 80 grand worth of Bitcoin. Somebody scammed him out of his Bitcoin. But again, I have to look seriously at this. A, we've got Apple. B, we've got an X in there. My strategy with investing in crypto is it's the Woz X. That has something to do with it. But, what's the use case for this puppy?
None.
Yeah, I'm like looking at this thing. I'm like, initial price was $0.1, 2 Mexican pesos. This money it reached $1.40, $1.41.
Nothing. So they actually used his name on this token. So the Efforce token WOZX, it was on Uniswap. Recently, some community user reported the Uniswap has listed a token WOZX. We hereby declare that Efforce token WOZX has never been listed on Uniswap.
Oh,
And
nice.
Woz is listed as the co-founder on the company's website. He's certainly Eforce's global face, financial analyst, environmental data, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Why are they even putting articles like this up here?
I don't even know. I mean, I know he's in the crypto, but something doesn't smell right here because Woz is, he can be a little kooky, but he's somewhat reputable. I don't see him doing weird stuff. That's why and it's not E-Force. It looks like F-Force, like F, like the F word.
The F-Force. Yeah.
The F-Force, like F-U.
Well, let's see. Let's pull up this True Innovation. So Steve Wozniak is on here on the Efforce. I don't know what that was all about on the Decrypt. It's so bizarre. Here, let me pull up the website. Hang on. This is interesting. Here we go.
Yeah, I was looking at the
Token
website.
Efforce. You saw that? So look at that.
Yeah.
So Efforce energy savings. In other words,
Okay.
Efforce, the energy savings of a third party are tokenized and can be used by everyone. What is going on with this idea? And there it is, the WOZX. It is capped at 1 billion. New tokens will never be created, and so they're going to roll this out. But man, I don't know. I mean,
He's got a video on there.
Yeah.
But it's an energy saving platform. You know what I know is really good with saving energy? It's called XRP Woz. That's what it's called, XRP. 3 seconds, 3.5, 4 seconds, end to end. Boom, full liquidity. So, it's like we joked a little bit ago about tokenizing this, tokenizing that. Of course, I said I was going to tokenize my imagination. I think that's coming closer and closer right now, tokenizing my imagination.
I think so. I think it's a great idea.
If you can sell one of those digital cats and you can make like $90,000 on it, man, it's wide open,
Yeah.
We'll tokenize the Yeti.
I like the Yeti token. The Yeti token was the best. But how do you tokenize? I mean, you're tokenizing energy savings. This is it's kind of like this crazy idea of, unless you're able to feed power back into the grid, how are you actually tokenizing energy savings? And what does that even mean? I mean, it's so crazy.
Here's how it works. First off, you have contributors. They participate in energy efficiency projects by acquiring tokenized future savings. So you're tokenizing future savings. Then you have companies which benefit from the energy efficiency improvements at no cost and the resulting savings are written in real time on the blockchain. So apparently future savings, current savings, then you got blockchain involved, which is a smart contract. This redistributes the resulting savings to token holders and the companies without intermediaries based on exact consumption savings data. But what they don't get into is exactly, okay, so I get it, future savings, current savings, and that goes back to the token holders. But how do they, what kind of energy are we talking about? We talking about coal fuel plants? We're talking about nuclear energy? If you go to the market plan if you scroll down to that, Jeff, keep scrolling down on the Efforce site. There's the thing called market. Keep going.
The market.
There you go, right there. So if you look at that right there, they're saying that on the left-hand side, so $241 billion plus 10% annual. Last 10 years, the energy efficiency market reached a value of $241 billion, 10% growth per year, right, per annum. And if you look on the other side there, it's like by 2025, no later than $584 billion. It's a pretty nice rise, which is fine. But where's the savings? Who's the person that says you saved money here? This is the part that does not explain very well.
No, I always have that issue. I mean, I get it. We saw one of those other projects. They're trying to tokenize carbon credits. Here they're trying to tokenize energy savings. To me, it just seems like it's another it's another solution looking for the problem. The problem is there. People want to save energy, but I think I don't know. I'm not going to say that here's a guy, Wozniak. The guy's pretty smart. But it just seems like, to me anyways, I could be mistaken about that. Just another one of those green energy type projects. They're trying to tap into, people's emotional state in the green space.
Are we 100% sure that's Wozniak, or is that George Lucas? It's hard to tell sometimes.
It's hard to tell.
They kind of look like brothers. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. It's like, it's always sad when you go to the website and it looks interesting. It's like dark and mysterious and energy, and someone's holding up a token, but they don't even have one example on this that I can even find here. I see the project screen, which is what you had up before, the first blockchain-based energy savings platform.
Yeah.
I still don't understand what savings and like how does that end up in a token?
Yeah, and again, unless you're back feeding your power, so I guess if you have solar, then they're tokenizing your savings. I don't know. It's way down there. Who let the bulls out? Said private energy companies will do this themselves, or maybe they'll tap in there. I don't know. It just seems like, in this XRP hodler here says, it sounds like another carbon tax to me. It sounds like the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like.
Intentions. I wanted to give a shout out to Tony from Thinking Crypto. He's in here with us tonight. Look at that. There he is. Tony. We got RTB Dutchy just popped in, and a bunch of other people popped in while we were talking.
I hung out with the other day,
Torres and Mr. TJ. Basically a stock.
Well, you know what? That's why I'm seriously starting to think about tokenizing my imagination. Man, I'm going to come up with all kinds of crazy things, and you can tokenize my future imagination, my middle imagination, my beginning imagination. Hell, I might even go back to my childhood, Jeff, and tokenize my young childhood imagination, which was kind of weird at times. I got to be honest. A lot of weird stuff happened in the Chip household. It was just part of being a kid growing up. That's what I keep telling myself. That's why I'm in therapy. No, I'm just kidding. Funky Fresh. So, hey, happy holidays. Yeah, dude, you took my happy holidays on there. Happy HODL days. Happy HODL days.
Get it? HODL days.
That's awesome. That is awesome right there.
That's right. All right, so check this out. I gotta play this. This is kind of cool. I think this will get people kind of in the mood. This is a video, dude, from 3 years ago. I just thought it was kind of cool. We're not gonna play the whole thing. Just kind of play a little bit of the intro. Let me share some audio here. I thought it was kind of cool. Let me make sure I get the right one. All right, here we go. Check this out. Let me know what you think.
Dollar vigilante, all up in your hearsay, dropping crypto knowledge, making the ladies go cray cray. Baby, I'm old school, and you the new jack. I've been rocking long Bitcoin since the Halon, way back track 6 years ago. A friend of mine told me to say some Bitcoin rhymes, so I.
All right, that's enough of that. Man,
I gotta be honest with you, Jeff, I got to be really honest with you. It doesn't even compare to XRP bags. XRP bags has this guy's got nothing on bags. Bags blows him away. The first rhyme opening of any one of his tunes is way better. Like it's got that had no flow. That was like
nothing.
It's really sad when you see white guys trying to rap. It's just a really terrible thing. I really cringe when he's like ba ba da ba ha pa da pa pa at da 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 ha da ba da ba, and it's like I can't believe you just played that, Jeff. You got something else? What else you got?
Yeah,
man?
no, that was just my lead up to this next thing here.
Okay,
all right,
cool.
so this video is actually from 7 years ago. So we're talking about 2013. I stumbled on this one. I thought it was interesting. You know, he's the YouTuber's still around today, Da Vinci. And back 7 years ago, he said, just buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, please. And so, you know, I thought that this would be really interesting to take a quick look at. Let me see if I can find it here. Here we go. Let's play this for a second.
Hi, everyone. It's been a while since I did a video, and I just want to do a quick video discussing where Bitcoin is and what it's going to do in the next few months, at least what I see it's going to do. I mean, I could be completely wrong, and I've been wrong before, but you know, I'm to guess at these things, and so I'm going to lay out some guesses on where it's going and so forth. One of the things I want you to understand is that Bitcoin is more than just a payment system. Satoshi Nakamoto, he wrote it as to ensure that you could do escrow transactions, bonded contracts, third-party arbitration, and multi-party signatures, and much more. This system, this whole Bitcoin protocol, is such a big game changer that, you know, the Bart Chilton coming out and saying that he wants to regulate it, he has no clue how that he's going to get a knife in the belly, a criminal, right? Who says that it was not manipulated. He's going to see that Bitcoin is going to regulate its own self, because you can create a system that allows for what's it called, leverage options and what's it called, derivatives, basically, which they want to regulate without a centralized system. And these are the amazing things that the Bitcoin protocol provides.
Man, what do you think? 7 years ago, dude. 7 years ago, and he's talking about they're trying to regulate it. 7 years ago,
Gonna get a knife in the belly. That made me laugh.
Because he doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. But look at that. He's just like, man, you know, back then he hadn't made a video in a long time. We're talking about 2013.
It's amazing, man. 2013. That's my first foray into Bitcoin, and like I didn't really get it either. It's like, it's funny because we were talking. I told you I was talking to a friend of mine. And he was like, I just said, there's three of us, right? There's the Bitcoin maxi who got me into it. Then there's the co-friend who says like, no man, I'm not into it. So I was talking to him the other night. I said, hey, you know, remember I told you when XRP was 17 cents? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, it's like over 60 cents. He's like, sorry man, it's not part of my strategy. I'm like, that's cool. I said, but I'm just letting you know. Look, I don't care what you do, but get yourself into. He's like, that's not part of my strategy. So I said, all right, just get into it. He goes, what's with you? He goes, what's with you crypto guys? It's like some kind of cult. He goes, you're always recruiting. I go, dude, at the end of the day, I said, the reason I'm telling you this is because I go, do you remember me telling you about this 2 years ago? He's like, no. I go, that's why I'm telling you about it now, because I don't want you coming back to me going like, Chip, you never told me about it. You never told me about it. I'm like, meanwhile, you're telling me I'm recruiting you. I said, I don't make any money. He goes, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. I go, do you know what a Ponzi scheme is? He's like, yeah, a Ponzi scheme. Everything floats to the top. I go, okay, that's then you don't understand digital assets, because that's not this. Now, have there been? Yes. Have there been ICO coins where people have exit scammed? There have been. But
man,
sounds
so
like
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please.
No,
please,
go ahead.
Please. No, I have nothing else.
No, keep
I got nothing.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
I got nothing.
Talk. All right. No, so check this out. So we're talking about May So that video was made May 9th of 2013.
So we're coming up 7.5 years.
7.5 years ago, dude. May 9th, he's talking about Bitcoin, and his title was basically do yourself a favor and buy at least $1 of Bitcoin. When he was making that video 7 years ago or 7.5 years ago, it had a high of $113 and a low of $109. So, talk about like I don't want to say foresight. I don't know. I've never watched any of these guys' videos. I think Darcy was saying that he had unsubscribed a while ago from his videos. We're talking about someone 7 years ago, and he's talking about here's the possibilities. He said he could be wrong, but here's the possibilities. It was such a new technology back in 2013, and there, I just get a kick out of it that here he is, and there's opportunity, $112, $109 at the low. Could you imagine? I mean, just think about that. Freaking awesome.
Knife in the belly.
Right in the belly.
Right in the belly.
What you get for trying to regulate this thing.
It's better than getting a knife in your back. He's like,
That's
no,
right.
I'm taking you out right in the belly. I ain't playing. I ain't playing.
Oh, man.
So we had some, we had a little bit more clarification on that whole Spark token. I think the person that put out the best video of the week probably is Jungle Inc. When he put out a video that clarified the whole. I don't know if you saw that one, Jeff.
No, I did not.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll look for it because I want to play it because I think it really clarifies probably the short and most succinct answer that I've seen about someone to explain exactly what the Flare Spark token is. So,
right.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna do this, and I just wanted
doing
to.
What?
While you're doing something, Jeff, you're supposed to be doing something. I thought you were playing some videos or something. Where's Berserker? Is he here? Berserker,
man. With my
videos. We can't play Berserker without Berserker in here.
If Berserker's not here, we're not Berserk. No Berserker. That's it.
Berserker?
That's it. No. Hey, check that out. Try trading Chico. That's the same response I get. You guys are trying to recruit.
Recruiting. I'm like, dude,
recruiting. It's
I wish I made money on recruiting.
A Bitcoin recruiter, an XRP recruiter. How about that?
Yeah, can you imagine, like, if you're recruiting?
Yep.
Now trading Chico, that's funny because we have the other Chico Crypto.
Let's see. Cecil says he looks to me at least by XRP on his video. Go to his channel. Oh, what? Who?
Say who?
Say what?
What?
Hey.
I found it.
Cecil?
I just gotta figure out how to put this thing on. Let me go ahead and try to share my screen here, Jeff.
Yeah. I don't know, Tony. I don't know if I'm playing solitaire, but what I can tell you, it's definitely magic. 100%. 100% magic. What do you got? What are you trying to share over there?
I shared the wrong one, Jeff.
Just sharing some random stuff.
The problem is I got 50 tabs open and it never can. Let's see. So I got to stop this and do it again. Man, it's like it's so painful trying to share something on here. I mean,
I'm going to start talking about Ron Paul pretty soon.
Why are you going to do that?
Because Ron Paul is talking about Bitcoin.
All right. Let's start talking about it. I'm looking for this.
Are you still looking for that?
I can't find it, dude. I can't. It's not.
All right. So Ron Paul said that any of the Bitcoin proponents should be vigilant of the government because there's information being collected. And that was just recently. So it's interesting. He's on a podcast when he started talking about that. Obviously, he's a prominent libertarian.
Yep.
But he said when Bitcoin came out, he was still in Congress, and he thought the most important thing to do at the time was make it legal. Paul stressed that he advises cryptocurrency advocates to be vigilant towards the government's future intrusive financial meddling. So I thought that it's interesting, when you talk about that and you put that in contrast with what Rashida Tlaib is trying to push through with her stable bill and trying to push stable coins over to banks that are going to then be basically controlled by government.
Right on.
Just interesting. It says here, Paul's the author of many books. Yeah, we know that.
I like Ron Paul.
Yeah. And so
guy's always been pretty with it.
Very interesting. He always talks about, free markets, libertarianism, big proponent of safe haven assets like gold and things like that.
He's always
So,
been
but
he would have made a great politician too. I think if he could have escalated, but again, there's everything was sort of against him, and I thought he had a lot of great ideas back in the day. And his son, I don't know if his son is carrying the torch so well, but that's just me. I don't know.
yeah,
Anyway, let me add this real
go
quick
ahead.
here.
Yeah, go ahead. If you found it, yeah, go ahead.
I did find it. Let's put this on
If you
here.
can pull it up.
So if you
Is it a
guys see
video?
this right, yeah, it's a video. It's a short one though. So
Okay.
can you hear that?
No, you didn't hit play yet. So
Can you
can't
hear that
it.
at all?
No. I think you forgot to hit the share button.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous, man.
So you got to unshare, and then
I'm
reshare,
really
and then do that.
annoyed by this platform. It's just a pain point every time. All right, let me see if I did it this time. Let's see.
Coinbase is crashing.
Uh-oh, hang on a second.
What is the Flare token?
Did you hear that?
There you go. Yeah, I
Okay.
heard that time.
So I just want to do a little preamble for this. So this guy right here, we think about we talk a lot about Flare, Spark token. This guy nails it in a very few words. Here, let's go.
What is the Flare token? What is the Spark token? To be honest, I don't fucking know. Don't ask. What is the Flare token? What is the Spark token? To be honest, I don't fucking know. Don't ask.
Dude, he's got a cool monitor.
That's a that's that wraparound gaming monitor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw that. No, they have
You
a
see how he
brand.
does the second camera there?
Yeah, I like that.
This is
I
the
need to do that over here.
And Jungle tweeted this out, said, your questions are answered.
Freaking
So
awesome.
What is the Flare token? What is the Spark token? To be honest, I don't fucking know. Don't ask.
It's pretty simple, man. I mean,
Don't ask, don't tell, and keep
No,
moving
no,
on.
nobody knows anything. It's like that. I love that, man. Stop.
Oh my God, that's too much. That's funny.
Holy cow.
Jeff is indeed looking for your replacement. On Indeed.
I can't, man. It's like
Where'd it go?
It's a
I
road
lost
show,
it
man.
already. There
It's
you
a
go.
road show. Indeed is on Indeed looking for your replacement. No, it can't be done, man. It's not possible.
While Coinbase is crashing,
what
Brian
else is
Armstrong
new?
is tweeting about DoorDash. He saw DoorDash kind of blew up today.
Yeah, it went nuts.
Yep.
So this one came out, and I want to credit Ranch XRP, which I believe is that Wade? Ranch XRP? Which one's Ranch? I can keep the names, like the moniker and this. Anyway, Ranch XRP put this out to me today. Tagged us in it, Jeff. Brian Brooks, OCC, and the USOC have provided clarity for banks to custody crypto. Tom Emmer's really crushing it, man.
Nice.
Now it's time for the SEC News' turn. Today I led a letter with 8 of my colleagues urging the SEC and FINRA to issue guidance and approve broker-dealer applications to custody digital assets. And if
nice.
you look on here, you got Bill Foster, you've got Ro Khanna here, Ted Budd, Darren Soto,
Nice.
of course.
Dude,
So
you got
does
all the key people signing off on that thing.
Warren Davidson. It's all the usual players, So you either have Darren Soto leading the pack, or you have Warren Davidson or Tom Emmer. They seem to be doing the most. So it's kind of cool that they're actually doing something. He says regulators must continue to support and embrace innovation in the United States. Either way, the technologies won't wait for them to keep up. And this is funny because this is exactly what we've heard from none other than Brad Garlinghouse, right? So he's talked about this a lot. And Emmer's like, if he's done a couple of webinars with Brad, so I'm pretty sure he gets it. But it's funny, you start hearing the same sort of stories that are prevalent out there. But here, you have to provide clarity for digital securities. Let me click on this puppy here. So he basically urges the SEC, you got to provide the clarity. They go back to July 22nd when the OCC issued the letter talking about being able to custody. So he ties it all together very nicely. I have to say that, we are so close to regulations at this point, Jeff. It's going to happen and we'll be like, what are we going to talk about anymore?
Nothing.
Over regulation. Jeff, I knew they were gonna overstep their protocol. They overdid it. Look, it's almost 3D.
100%. They're already trying.
You know those movies when you're a kid, Jeff, and there's like a 3D thing, and there's like it was like
sweet.
popping you in the face,
Yeah.
So,
Yep. All right. You know what I think about all that? You kind of get fired up, you get excited, and then you want to have something that's going to provide you with a little bit of emotion.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we got right here. Let me see if we can get a little emotional here. Ready?
Cue it up, man.
America, fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America, fuck yeah! Freedom is the only way, yeah.
Wow, Jeff, that's magic right there.
How was that?
America.
Yeah. That was
Boy,
awesome.
this video's going down, dude. We just. By the way, you see that right there, Jeff?
Oh, I see that. You know who just entered?
Yeah.
Come on, man, Berserker.
Is he singing English or Russian?
In English, come on, Berserker. Girls think sexy. I'll watch. Wait, he's gonna sing and watch. It's too funny.
My love for you is like a truck berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker?
That's fucking funny, man.
Oh man, what timing! What perfect timing!
Berserker.
Oh, that's awesome! Hey, look at that. Now that's it. We just we lost
Mullet's
Glenn
out.
Mullet.
Mullet's
out.
done.
He couldn't take
He's
it
done.
anymore, man. That was
He's
it.
out. He's like, forget it. You guys were way off today.
We played like 4 videos back to back, and we're trying to keep it in sync, on topic. And when Mullet just, that's it.
Mullet's like, I'm
Can't
out.
take
Done.
it. Can't
Done.
take it anymore.
By the way, when we met up with Wen Mullet, the best thing he said to us was, you guys are kind of an acquired taste. And I was like, so it's a fine wine, my man. Or a
That's
nice
right.
scotch. But he's like, no, not the way I'm talking about it. So, yeah.
He is
Mullet's
gone.
left the building. He's done.
That's
yeah.
it. Now we got
Berserk.
pointing.
We
pointing
mooning?
to a
No.
3 just bounced in here.
Alex, we are
So-
not mooning.
Not yet. Not yet.
Alex,
So-
how are you feeling, man? How are you feeling?
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's got the Rona.
I forgot. That is true. Yeah. So check this out. So we got all these things going on. We got a lot of people talking about digital asset and cryptocurrency. And so some of the latest that are talking about it, Chip, we've got the PayPal CEO he's saying the time is now for cryptocurrency.
He's
And
right.
he's looking at, Bitcoin is the digital gold, but he's fired up, because we've seen so many other big companies. We got Circle, Square is kind of, entering into the space a little bit. We talked about Wozniak getting into the space. We know MicroStrategy's gotten into the space. There's so many, and they're looking at it happening like right now. And then this popped up. So this is the Standard Charter or Stand Chart. The CEO, Bill Winter, said that digital currencies the full widespread rollout is inevitable, completely inevitable. And that is the corporate approach, the corporate view on this.
But you know what's great about all this is like we're starting to find, when you live inside your like little tribal stuff, and we're like a pretty strong XRP community. We like Bitcoin, Ether. There's a whole bunch of them that we like. We talk about often on here. But now you're starting to see people who were like anti. Like they weren't really into it, and you just see 2020 has been a weird year. A lot of people, a lot of these prominent voices who maybe in the past were naysayers. They're kind of like, hey, you got to look at this. It's almost like they caught the fever from like 2013, 2017. 2020, I think, has done a lot for people reevaluating their lives, looking at stuff a little bit more seriously. And I'm really happy to see some of the people that have been coming out, saying glowing things. I mean, like a lot of from the investor community that you wouldn't have thought about. And then what did I see recently that our pal Warren Buffett purchased some company that has a crypto connection. So it's like, it's not like directly, but there's something. So it's like people aren't going out there saying, it's kind of embarrassing too. Is remember Buffett was so anti everything, anti Bitcoin, everything. And, when you put that out there, you kind of like, you can't just go like, oops, sorry, I was just joking. You got to kind of like
pull that back.
Like pull it back a little bit, move into it like around the backside. You know what I mean? It's not exactly there has to be some sort of a way you're going to kind of pull it back, because it's embarrassing. You like the dumbest thing ever. Because I have friends like that, and they're like, it's the dumbest thing ever. And 3 years later,
crazy.
still the dumbest thing ever.
All right, well, look at Jamie Dimon, of JP Morgan, all the things that he talked about, Bitcoin and digital asset and all this, and then they try to roll out the JPM coin, and we know JP Morgan's getting into it.
A lot of times they try to artificially sort of, block. I mean, a lot of that stuff too. It's like I never really bought it. It's like, look, if you're like a big bank, you're probably going to be, you're not going to be so glowing about it. Like, hey, this is the greatest thing, but you're not going to ignore it. I mean, anybody that's looking seriously at something, you're not going to ignore an opportunity like that. And check this out, Jeff.
All right.
Bitstamp had to apologize after posting a report saying that XRP was toxic waste. Now that's a little rough, okay?
Holy cow.
They now regret posting Messari. Well, the problem is Messari right here. Messari hates, they hate XRP more than anything. Any chance they can take to, like, really give it a shot. They basically posted Messari's 134-page report, included coarse language, colorful descriptions of certain tokens. What would that be? So, in a tweet, the exchange issued an apology for posting research firm's Messari crypto thesis for 2021. The report and founder and CEO Ryan Selkis report referred to XRP as toxic waste, with Selkis calling Bitcoin BTC forks, Stellar Lumens, XLM, and Litecoin LTC piles of SH. So this is the kind of stuff that I think we have to, sort of, let me get rid of that sucker there. But this is the kind of stuff we got to watch out for because, if you're an exchange, you don't want to call winners and losers. You want to say we offer these products and we'll publish things. But when you start like publishing Messari reports, now Messari's done some decent work in the past. I'm not going to I'm not going to sit there and go full blown at them. But toxic waste, XLM is SHT. I mean, come on, man. That's a little bit much. And now they got to walk that back. Nobody when posting this thought I wonder if that's not going to go over very well with the community, with our XRP community. You know what I mean?
Not so well. I mean, especially considering that a lot of people started with Bitstamp.
Yeah, dude, this is the best one yet. The Messari CEO said he was going for a humorous tone to keep readers engaged. Yeah, so let me just start crapping on these coins and calling them S coins.
Because we're humorous.
I was going for the humor. I liked insulting people who invested their time, energy, and money into these altcoins, but I just wanted to keep it light.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, I thought it was really funny.
Members of the XRP army were generally supportive of Bitstamp's statement, calling it a quick and thoughtful reaction. The exchange may have been responding to Selkis' views on XRP, the seemingly unprofessional language peppered throughout the report. Messari CEO used the F-bomb 5 times and the S-bomb 9 times, which I'm okay with if you put that in a report, but I guess it's how you package it. And, this is what happens when you start dealing with Messari. Messari is last year's crypto thesis for 2020. Selkis said he hated XRP, but he did not label it as toxic, okay? Now listen, if you're going to go into 2020, 2020 has been toxic, okay? He might have got off saying it in 2019 that 2020 is going to be toxic, right? And because think about this, we were low at some point, right? But the fact in 2021 calling it toxic when it's about ready to blow, I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't see that. I don't see that whole thing. But I thought that story was kind of weird. It's always bad when you got to walk stuff back and say sorry, XRP community. Because they were one of the first exchanges, right, that appeared on Ripple's site, Kraken, Bitstamp.
One of the first. It was one of the first to easily get into XRP. It was the first that I bought XRP on.
And now they're talking about it's toxic waste. So no, nobody wants to grow up in toxic waste.
It's crazy. Hey, it happens, right?
It happens. Well, it does happen, but it shouldn't happen, Jeff. That's the whole point. It shouldn't happen.
That's right. So within this space, we see a lot of winners. We've seen some losers. Now, what do you think an exchange profit can be for 2020? How much profit are they making, and how does it compare to banks in the space? So let's say if we looked at, I don't know, let's say a big bank. Let's look at Bank of America, profit for 2020.
So we're talking. So we're just looking at gross profits. We're not looking at nets. We're looking at certain.
Yeah, we'll see if the profit. I mean, Bank of America has been around for a long time. Obviously, they could generate a significant amount of revenue. I don't know if we can find actual profit numbers on a bank. I'm trying to find something here, but I'm not finding it. But let's look at it from a revenue perspective. Bank of America it looks like their 2020 second quarter revenue came in around 22.3 billion, compared to
Impressive.
around. Yeah, but it's saying here on Wednesday, Bank of America posted a net income of 3.5 billion or 37 cents per share for the second quarter of 2020. So let's say 3.5 billion. You know, I mean, that's interesting, right? They've been around a long time. But then I'm looking over here, and all of a sudden I see Binance making a profit of $1 billion in 2020. Not revenue, profit. They made a profit of 570 million in 2019.
Wow.
I wonder if this is accurate. It just doesn't seem. I mean, it's
Seems-
possible, but why are they quoting? Why aren't they looking at net revenue in this article?
The other thing too is you know, they're still private, right?
Yeah.
So I could see them
Yeah.
doing something like that if they're trying to attract investors. You know, they're trying to, because if you're profiting $1 billion, you know, what's your market cap? You know, you got to be worth, you know, there has to be some sort of a you know, your valuation on what the company's worth. So maybe they're trying to, you know, expand into some other areas, and they put, because I don't see any other, I guess, you know, excuse for putting something like that. If you want to, if there's some adaptability where you say like, hey, we're gonna do this, there's something to gain from it. I don't know. I almost think like it'll anger people. Like, wait a minute. So, you know,
Look at
off of
this, man.
fees.
Yeah, $280 million has been processed in Africa since March of 2020 in the peer-to-peer trading.
Holy cow.
It amazes me. I mean, the amount of money that's moving through these exchanges is just unparalleled, especially, I mean, you're looking at this as P2P. So, yeah, as we know that in certain countries, it's a little bit more difficult to buy money on the exchange. So they're going peer-to-peer, similar to like in Venezuela, you know, but the amount of money, I mean, and this goes back to which one do we see kind of jumping in and dictating the direction of the space, the exchange or the bank? We know where Rashida Tlaib stands when it comes to stable coins. They want the banks in control, but we also know who pays their, you know, who pays all their congressional bills. It goes to the banking lobbyists and the big financial institutions. Whereas Binance, you know, they're not. Look at these guys. I mean, they're huge. You know, so who's going to come first?
What's the profit? This SYBS, a good one. What's the profit of Coinbase last year? I don't know. I think they're private. I don't think they're public
they probably
about that.
aren't
But
going to announce that.
I don't know why any private company would announce it. To be honest, I don't really see that.
But here's the revenue. So this is interesting. Let me see. Coinbase financials. This is the source. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's 100% accurate. Oh, here we go. Let's look at this one. Let's see. This is showing Coinbase. This is 2000 for 2018. Coinbase brought in a revenue of $520 million, which was 60% less than what it had projected. That was for 2018. But it's interesting because in 2017, they generated 923 million in revenue.
Wow.
So they did drop quite a bit.
But that's revenue. That's not profit per se.
Right. That's revenue, right? And they projected 1.3 billion based on what they had seen in 2017. That was 2018. So let's see if we can find something that's relevant for 2000. Let's see if they have anything projected for 2020, and maybe even go back. Coinbase UK discloses 22% profit drops in 2019. Coinbase financials. Here we go. Let's see. This was 19 and 20. How did it do? Let's see here. Horribly. That's 2018, 2018, 2018. Nothing. Costs. I can't find anything in here on 19, but you can see, I mean, all these exchanges are posting some big numbers. But Binance overall just, I think, is blowing people away. I mean, it's really unreal. Just to see that kind of movement. And we're not talking about a company that's been around, you know, for a long time.
No,
they've only been around for a couple years.
Yeah, and in a couple years they've certainly put their mark. I mean, it is kind of, kind of amazing. I wanted to look at this story too. This one here. This one is we don't need any sound for this one, so this ought to be good. But
I don't hear anything.
There's no sound.
No.
Congress people tell Treasury to back off rumored self-hosted wallet ban. Congressman Davidson, in particular, sees potential Treasury action as a bad idea for everyone involved. Several members of Congress voiced opposition to a rumored blockade on self-hosted crypto wallets in the works at the U.S. Treasury. This is the danger in regulation, that they overstep. In a December 9th letter addressed to Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, 4 members of the Congressional Blockchain Caucus. Do you want to know who they are, Jeff? They wanted answers for the rumored Treasury rulemaking that would restrict self-hosted wallet usage in the U.S. Authors, Warren Davidson, Tom Emmer, Ted Budd, Scott Perry, argue that such limitations would hinder American leadership, preclude meaningful participation in the technological innovation currently underway throughout the global financial system. In other words, you are going to screw it up badly. You already have momentum, and you've got adoption happening, and they want to slam the brakes on. Davidson noted that the Treasury rulemaking is likely more dangerous than last week's Stable Act, which we talked about.
There you go.
It seeks to lock down the independent operators and stablecoins. The Ohioan, what is that? The Ohioan Congressman said Mnuchin actually has. Yeah, I don't know. Mnuchin actually has a lot of power to make policy through rulemaking, so that's actually more pressing. Davidson continued to argue in favor of the benefits of self-hosting and P2P, and this is, we talk about self-hosting wallets, that's like your ledger. So if you're going to self-host, so what do they want you to do? They want, this was not the reason that custody, banks being able to custody your crypto. It wasn't like, we're going to have the banks do it. You can't self-host anymore. So he's saying the real issue about self-hosted wallets are useful for all sorts of potential blockchain applications. So the ability to move a token without intermediary is an essential element of true blockchain. Spot on right there. And if you look at frictionless system, part of the Bitcoin white paper that made blockchain famous and growing as a technology is the ability to do something peer-to-peer. It's a core tenet of the technology. And you know what? This is awesome because we talk a lot about Congress, people in Congress that don't get it right. This is spot on. He talks about bypassing, you don't need an intermediary, and this is the whole beautiful promise of it, the fact that it's frictionless, And, right. I like that he referenced the white paper too and said that, the whole idea was this whole peer-to-peer type of thing, and that really is the core of what Bitcoin was, and that's really what a lot, if I want to send you XRP, I can send it to you. Are you telling me now that you want to have the government sort of like go through and start regulating that?
Oh, it's so crazy. It really is.
It's ridiculous. And he says today's letter argues that crypto technology is actually helpful for law enforcement looking to trace illicit usage. This always drives me crazy because can they get off the illicit usage? Probably in the next 100 years of Bitcoin, it was going on for the next 100 years, they probably couldn't surpass it. Jeff, give me one.
Well, that means we got to get rid of cash. So I think it's so poignant, talking about all of this, and it's really interesting, the fact that we actually had another article that came out, talking about the illicit usage. I know I'm getting like this glare and stuff, but you get the illicit use of the digital asset. That always seems to be the prime target, for the politicians. They're always looking at illicit use, but yet, fiat currency is used the most in the illicit environment. It's been that way since the beginning of fiat currencies. And it was interesting. There was an article that came out talking about down in Mexico, they were actually going after, and the lemon glow, they're actually going after the cartel down in Mexico. And they said the one way they caught them is because they're trying to filter money, illicitly gain money through Bitcoin. But that's how they tracked them, and that's how they caught them. And they're trying to put this whole spin on the currency. And I said, but that's how you caught the guys. But regardless, I don't care if you're putting it through Bitcoin or if you're keeping it in fiat. It doesn't make a difference. That's why the from a political perspective, they're always trying to find a loophole to explain their position on why they want to over-regulate or over-control And that definitely seems to be one of the agendas. But since DNI just stepped in here, there was something else that I wanted to bring up, which has to do with Thai tax collectors that want to streamline revenues with blockchain tech in 2021. Why? Because they want to make tax evasion, DNI, they want to make tax evasion more difficult in Thailand. So I thought that's interesting because when you see certain precedent being set, depending on the country that you're in, it does definitely, it resonates to all other countries. So it'd be interesting to get some feedback here from DNI on this. But it says here, Thailand's tax collection agency will use blockchain tech to streamline the tax payments next year. So we're going to see the implementation of blockchain into Thailand starting pretty much right away. Here it says the government aims to collect 530 billion baht, which is 17.5 billion US dollars for fiscal year 2020. It's less than what they collected in 2019. I don't think that's relevant for anything. But it says here in 2021, the Revenue and Customs Department will incorporate blockchain tech into their operations. It said that blockchain will help these departments calculate tax liabilities, import duties, and prices. And at the end of the day, their objective with all of this is to make sure that everybody is paying their taxes, paying them on time, and that the government isn't losing out on any money. And this goes back to what Ron Paul was saying when he's looking into Bitcoin. He's saying right from the beginning, make Bitcoin legal. But his perspective on the regulation and what we were just talking about through all of this is the possibility or potential of over-regulation. So you have the zealousness of the politicians which want to over-regulate the digital asset space, just like they would with anything else. They want to overtax, overburden, and take away opportunities for individuals. You know, so that's kind of the thing as you look at it. It's interesting because it's contrary to what the whole purpose of Bitcoin was from the beginning, which was obviously another solution to get away from the banking space, allowing the people to transact and do the peer-to-peer transactions. If we look, we were just looking at Da Vinci, we watched that video, getting into what were the purposes of Bitcoin, putting the power back into the people's hands. And that's what Ron Paul was talking about. But I find it interesting because as we progress through the years, and the one thing that everybody wants and really has focused on, it's not over-regulation, but it's regulatory clarity. So there's a difference between being overly regulated and having regulatory clarity to properly develop and build out the space. And that's what's most important. So as you're investing, similar to the idea of like XRP, is XRP a security, not a security? Well, we need a little bit of clarity from the government in order to allow us to understand the dynamics. And that's where, when you look at the article that Chip was bringing up here, really focusing in on where we stand with Warren Davidson and Tom Emmer and Ted Budd and those guys. You know, what is their focus when it comes to the digital asset space, as opposed to Rashida Tlaib, who's trying to create this stable act to really penalize those private entities and make it so that no private entities can be in the crypto stablecoin business. And I find it interesting also because a lot of the article that we covered on Sunday, when we reviewed the Stable Act with Rashida Tlaib, was really emphasizing Facebook. So the penalty was really on Facebook. Was Facebook, with this new narrative of the direction that they're moving in, how they're rebranding everything and trying to bring it to center stage with their own All right, I'm back. That was really bizarre. You know, so I don't know, I mean, this whole idea of, of the regulation is really important. We have to, keep focusing on it because, here we are, as we develop, as we grow, as we build in this space, we're seeing more and more and more from a political perspective. We're seeing the governments, getting actively involved. So here you have, let me add this to the stream real quick. So here you have Spain's second largest bank is going to launch crypto services. So again, here we go, where you have banking, which one comes first? We saw Binance, $1 billion in revenue or profit. Not sure how the, what's going on with the, with the article that was written. But here you have bank after bank after bank that is getting into the digital asset space. So I think that's really, it's all telling because here we have, Spain getting ready to launch into cryptocurrency space. Now, as we get into it even a little bit further, and I think this is important, because we get through, we look at, the different countries, we look at everything that's going on, and China, has been rolling out the digital renminbi, the digital yuan, however you want to reflect on it. But here you have this was on the Register. China's digital currency find its first cross-border payments buddy with Hong Kong. Hong Kong obviously being part of China. So, but anyhow, there's a lot of talk about the ECNY or the digital yuan, the digital renminbi, and what China is doing to really push forward in the digital currency space. And so that becomes very, very relevant in what's happening, in general. So, whether it's, from a political perspective or economic perspective in China or Spain or down in Mexico or things that we see a transaction in Africa, we see Binance, we were just talking about that, $280 million since March in P2P and peer-to-peer transaction within the digital asset space. You're seeing that all over the place. So the digital asset space coming to the forefront. And then, here's something, let me get out of these, get out of this one. Let me see if I still have this one article up here. I thought it was interesting. Oh, here we go. All right, so let me pull this one up. So as you have more and more people getting in, right, and we were talking a little bit earlier about people that were maybe against that are now maybe in favor of. But here you have Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary is ready to put 5% of his portfolio in an SEC-approved Bitcoin ETF. So he's not going straight into Bitcoin, but he will go into a Bitcoin ETF, which is an exchange-traded fund. He wants to do something approved by the SEC. He's more conservative from a perspective. He's looking at the opportunity and possibilities that Bitcoin is going to offer and is offering. However, he wants to keep it wrapped up in the traditional type of investment mechanism. But again, this is, so key. It's really key when you see over and over and over again, we're starting to see more and more of the corporate kind of bigger investors that are putting huge sums of their money in. We obviously saw what MicroStrategy has done. We saw Michael, I think it's Sayer, he put $425 million into Bitcoin. And then last week, he announced he was putting another $50 million. And so he's going to have $475 million invested in Bitcoin. The thing is, his first initial buy-ins were around 10,000. The second buy-in of 50 was at 19,000. But that's massive amounts of money. And this is repeated over and over and over and over again. Just like we saw what's going on with PayPal. We see what's going on with Circle. It's amazing. It really is. So 2020, although a weird year, we're starting to see that interest, that uptick in the interest in the digital asset space, which is really making a huge impact overall because as we were reading before, it's inevitable. It's inevitable what's going to happen with this rollout. But then there's definitely some road bumps or roadblocks along the way, like Rashida Tlaib's bill that is going to try to really impede the progress. So again, it's interesting when you see, a division of you have the Democrat objective and the Republican objective, and then you have the bipartisan objective. The bipartisan objective is what we see with Warren Davidson and Darren Soto and others. We saw them just now. We went over that bill or that letter that they wrote. They want to make sure that they're opening up the investment in the space, developing the technology, allowing this space to grow the way it needs to grow. However, then you have two other objectives here, right? Where you have pretty much Republican only that is going to continue trying to further promoting the space. And then we see Rashida Tlaib that's trying to break it down. So it's really interesting. The bipartisan nature of it, meaning when you get both parties on board to really try to build and develop the blockchain space. So big things are happening. We have been here for an hour, and in that hour, Fiat Leak has stayed relatively flat. So a lot of activity going up into Europe right now. So I guess Darcy's, definitely doing his thing up there, even though it's Europe, but he would be over here someplace in Ireland. But here we've got a lot of activity, as always, going into Korea, and the U.S. is just dominating the trades in the XRP space. And every so often you see a Coinbase popping up here. So I don't know if people are getting fired up right now. They're getting ready for that Spark token that still everyone's a little bit leery and questionable as to what the actual total progress is going to be with that. Who knows? The one thing that I do know, not 100% sure, but what I am sure is I think it's magic. So, so that is it. That is Wednesday. XRP FOMO right here. FOMO time. XRP FOMO time right here on the chain. Jeff, Chip, and that's it. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate everybody. Make sure we tune back in here Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the roundtable. And man, that's it. We went through a lot. Oh, the one thing I forgot to talk about that I wanted to mention, Edward Snowden. So Edward Snowden, the NSA whistleblower, has 4 million Twitter followers. I think this will be interesting. Let me pop this over here. This is what we're going to wrap up with. So 4 million Twitter followers. He's proclaiming that he called the Bitcoin bottom back in March. So let's see. Bitcoin we know is around 19K. He said when Bitcoin was around 5,000, he felt that was the bottom. What was this? Let's see. He's trying to relay back. This is the first time in a while I felt like buying Bitcoin. That drop was too much panic and too little reason. I don't know. So that's it. That is what we've got for today. Anyhow, again, appreciate everyone for being here. You guys were awesome. And we will check you guys out on the next one. How do we get out of here? Here we go.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.